Hello, everybody. This is my attempt to adapt Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life into advice for younger students, middle school through high school and even into college. It got a little bit long, so I broke it into a number of segments. If you want to look at the rest, just take a look at my channel and enjoy. Right, Rule 11. This is another one, weirder one, I guess. Do not bother children when they're skateboarding. Okay, don't bother children when they're skateboarding. We're done, right? We can move on. Well, not really. This is more of a rule about taking risk. And one of his points, which you can also find in The Coddling of the American Mind by Haidt and Lukyanov, if I recall the authors correctly, I may be mistaken, but I think that's them, is that when people are taking risks, when children are taking risks, that's important. Don't stop them, okay? And what does this mean for you? It means take risks. Risks are valuable to you. Take them. Remember, stand up straight with your shoulders back. You're moving forward, you're engaging. That's a risk. But what is it going to give you? It's the only way out of a whole bunch of your problems. One of the problems we have nowadays, and this is, according to Haidt and Lukyanov, related to some of the child napping and other scares, really scares, that happened in the 80s. And parents started to go, I'm keeping my kids home where they're safe. Well, that's great, except for one problem. That meant they never learned to be independent. They never learned to make up their own rules to their games, to make games, to play games with themselves, and to do so without parents watching them, without people interfering. They never learned to be independent. And so when those kids, and you might well be one of those, go out into the world, they don't know how to be independent. And that matters. I know, for example, Tim Pool, for example, has talked about this, where people he hires, he doesn't like to hire people with certain types of education because what he finds is they've been taught to be dependent. They've never been let to skateboard, and he's a big skateboarder. I never skateboarded, but I understand what he's talking about. Like when I got old enough, and this was elementary school, I had the run of my neighborhood, on my way home, and I'd walk all over the place. I'd climb rocks. I'd go down to the library by myself, get books, which could be a little interesting at times. It's pretty safe. But climbing rocks that you can fall off of and hurt yourself without a parent around, that's a risk. Did I care? Not really. It was good for me. Walking across trees above streams. You could fall in and there's rocks there. Could that hurt you? Yeah. So I'm learning to take risks. I'm learning to manage risks. I'm learning to be independent. So should you. In whatever way you can. Learn to be independent. Learn to be away from your parents and still function. And part of that is learn to get hurt. I know it sounds so bizarre coming from a teacher, coming from anyone who cares about kids. But here's the thing. I know that once you leave my classroom, once you leave school, once you leave college in general, you're going out in the world where you can get hurt, right? You're going to ask a girl out for a date and she's going to turn out to be a total ha. And she's going to rip you up one side or down the other and just be nasty to you. Okay. You took a risk. It wasn't rewarded, but you did learn something. You learned to avoid her and probably her circle of friends if she's queen bee, right? You take a risk and you break a leg. Well, that's great, but what did you learn while breaking a leg? Did you learn not to do that again, or did you learn maybe I should do that with better safety equipment? Different lessons, right? Did you learn that's too dangerous for me to do, or did you learn that was fun and if I do it right, it won't hurt me? Did you learn maybe I'm more capable than I thought I was. I should do more, even if it risks a bit of injury, emotional, intellectual, whatever. So you may look at this and think, do I want to take that course? Do I want to take the course at this level or that level? Like the more advanced level might be harder for me. Do I want to stay where it's safe? Or do I, am I going to say to myself, look, this might be harder. This might be a risk. This is a risk, heck. But if I don't take this at the higher level, I'll never know if I can hack it. And if I know I can't hack it, maybe I can figure out ways to hack it. Maybe I can learn better strategies to be better at this. Maybe I can get better. Or maybe I can actually succeed and learn that I should have pushed myself more, that I'm more capable. Maybe you ask that girl out and she says no because she's got a boyfriend. Well, that's also one, but you learn, hey, that girl over there was nasty to me. This girl was, she's got a boyfriend, but otherwise she seemed okay. What about that girlfriend over there? What about that girl over there? Maybe she doesn't have a boyfriend. Heck, excellent. I'll ask her. Oh, she doesn't have a boyfriend. And she's willing to go out with me on at least one date. Awesome. Oh, the date went badly. Okay, but I learned something from the date. This process of risk-taking, without risk, you don't learn. Without learning, you don't grow. Without risk-taking, you don't mature, and you have to risk yourself intellectually. You have to risk yourself emotionally. You have to risk yourself at least somewhat physically. Doing that is extremely valuable for you. Go do it. Now, that doesn't mean take stupid risks. Hold my beer and watch this is usually a bad idea. If you feel yourself tempted to say, hold my Diet Coke and watch this, or, hey guys, watch this, think twice, because there is such a thing as a stupid risk, all right? And this is one of the things that you also have to realize is, okay, there's risks and there's dumb risks. Like, for example, there are kids who are cool because they take risks. They're the risk takers. Well, think about what happens as they get older. They were taking risks to transgress. That was what made them cool. Well, as you get older, there's fewer and fewer rules, right? I mean, I'm cool because I left the playground during lunch without permission. Okay, you transgressed against a rule and you were cool. Now, imagine when you're in college, what kind of rules can you break? Maybe societal ideas like the speed limit. Is that safe? Like drinking and driving. Was that safe? No, those things can get you in serious trouble. So it's not that you're breaking limits to be cool. It's that you're breaking limits to challenge yourself and be better. So be careful about which risks you take, because some risks are just dumb. They're not risks for a reward. They're risks for just reputation and stupidity. You're looking for risks that teach you more about your capabilities, that teach you more about who you are, and that push you to the limit of your ability so you can learn. Get those out there, well worth it. All right, rule 12, pet a cat when you encounter one on the street. Last rule, then it's pretty easy, right? You just go pet cats. Well, it doesn't work for me. I hate to say it, I'm horribly allergic. Eyes swell shut, asthma attacks, cats like me, I just stay away from them. Because they know I'm a very good petter, but they just don't quite get why I won't pet them, why I run away from them if they really are persistent, because I don't like my eyes swelling shut. So what is the deeper meaning of this? Because I'm sure there's lots of cats out there. Well, think of it like this, okay? Life's hard. Life sucks. We are biased to perceive the negative more than the positive. We're biased to be doomed by it and to be unhappy about it. But there's good things as well. This is more of a lesson on gratitude. So here's a thing you can try if you have never done it before, okay? Get a notebook, put it by your bed. Set an alarm on your phone. Every day at, say, 7 o'clock at night, or whatever date, before you go to bed, you're going to write 3 things in your notebook. And those things are going to be something that you're grateful for today. It has to be within the last 24 hours. Don't repeat things, okay? So if I was grateful for having a turkey salad sandwich yesterday, I'm not grateful for having had the leftovers of that turkey salad sandwich today, okay? Something else. The point is that if you're one of those people who is bitter, angry, and resentful, all right, who is not really facing their problems, who's running away from them, who's hiding behind ideology, who's essentially telling lies to themselves and to others, or buying into lies of various ideological theories. And note, I'm not knocking on religion. That's a much more complicated topic. But I'm talking about more specific, like really low-res ideologies like CRT, like communism to some extent. You know, there's a bunch of really low resolution things out there that have caused all sorts of misery, and we don't really want to touch them. Racial supremacy is another. Get rid of that stuff. But the point is that, you know, those sort of lies can comfort you temporarily, but over time you're going to become angry at the world because somehow it doesn't match what you're saying it should be. It's not living up to what your ideology says it is. Or you might just be, frankly, depressed because the world can get you down. I mean, you know, all of us get depressed at some point or another. You know, sometimes it's clinical, sometimes it's just life sucks right now. All right, I've got 15 deadlines. The boss is breathing down my neck, or the principal, or my teachers, or finals are coming up, and I'm afraid I'm going to fail. Whatever it is. But one way to keep yourself going, one way to keep yourself with good emotional energy, good emotions, is basically just find the good things. Find the things that you're grateful for. Find the things that are great. Like, you know, you ran into a dog today and the dog happened to sniff your shoes and you got to pet it. That's the thing to be grateful for, especially if you like dogs. You know, maybe something bad happened to you today, but at least there was something funny that happened about it. It was funny in some way. Like, you know, I remember one time I fell off a log. My tailbone really hit the log on the way into the stream, and I got wet, up to my ankles in mud, splattered all over the place. And oh yes, by the way, I couldn't sit down for a few days because I had really bruised the bone. Is that something to be grateful for? Not really. But at least I could make a joke out of it, which I was grateful for. When I felt like a dinosaur because I was a hamartic sore ass. I know it's not very funny, but I'll take what I can get when my butt hurts like that. My point being, though, think about it as, you know, just finding the good stuff in life and remembering it. Because I've met people, adults, people who've graduated with advanced degrees or, you know, really nice degrees that should get them a great job. And they're bitter, angry, and resentful. And I had a feeling that was probably why they couldn't get a job, is because that came across in interviews. They were miserable people. They just drained the energy right out of you. So this is more about gratitude, more about finding the good things in life and making sure that you make room for them in your life, as opposed to an unending dirge of negativity that, frankly, is what drives clicks and retweets and, you know, watches and likes and all this other stuff that people want to send you. All right? To remind you that the world is not just all evil, not wholly corrupt, that there is a great deal of good in the world if you have but the wit to look, to sharpen your eyes to see it, to perceive it. And then that good in the world, well, that's really going to help you over time, because that is what supports you when everything else is terrible. The fact that there is still good, and the fact that you can keep going and you can see it and you can experience it, even if life is hard. All right, guys, that was 12 Rules for Life. This was a long one. I know. I do like to talk. Hope you enjoyed it. So this is Hamartic signing off. Remember, we may always miss the mark, but hey, coming close, repeated tries, eventually something is going to hit it. We're going to get some kind of truth out of it. And that's the whole point. Have a nice day.